ready to put boots on the ground and planes in the air to support a deal.
United States President Donald Trump welcomed British Prime Minister Keir Starmer to the White House for their first official meeting. They discussed Ukraine's security, trade relations, and the future of NATO during their talks. The meeting highlighted underlying tensions between the United States and its allies. Starmer carefully navigated points of disagreement with the often unpredictable Trump. In their public appearances, Starmer expressed opinions that differed from Trump's without directly contradicting him. Trump acknowledged these subtle disagreements with a lighthearted remark during a press conference. He praised Starmer's negotiation skills, but joked that he was unsure if he liked how tough they were. The conversation sometimes became tense, particularly when Trump interrupted Starmer. When asked about Trump's suggestion that Canada should become a U.S. state, Starmer began to push back. As Starmer was explaining that their nations had a strong relationship, Trump abruptly cut him off.
You mentioned Canada. I think you're trying to find a divide between us that doesn't exist. We're the closest of nations, and we had very good discussions today, but we didn't discuss Canada.
Thank you. Please. Go ahead. Go ahead. Yes. Thank you.
Observers were keen to see how Starmer, a former human rights lawyer from the Labour Party, would interact with Trump. During their initial meeting in the Oval Office, Starmer extended a symbolic gesture of goodwill. He presented Trump with a signed invitation from King Charles III for a state visit to the UK.
It is my pleasure to bring from His Majesty the King a letter. He sends his best wishes and his regards, of course, but he also asked me to bear this letter and bring it to you. So can I present the letter from the King to you?
Thank you very much. Am I supposed to read it right now?
Yeah, please do.
I will do.
I've got to tell him what your reaction is, so I need to know.
He is a great gentleman.
Trump revealed that they had discussed trade relations between their countries. The U.S.-UK trade relationship was valued at approximately $148 billion in 2024.
Underfunding, there's an urgent need to catch up for some countries, and I want to thank the Prime Minister once again for traveling here today. Working together, I believe that we'll once again demonstrate the power of our country's unique friendship. This is indeed a unique friendship. It's been many years, and I think it's only gotten stronger, and we will make sure that it stays that way. We're going to have a great trade agreement. One way or the other, we're going to end up with a very good trade agreement for both countries, and we're working on that as we speak. I think we'll have the confines. I think we'll have something maybe even in terms of possibilities agreed to very shortly. JD's working on it, Vice President, and Scott, and I'm just looking at this all from Mike. You're going to work on it. Everyone's going to work on it. We'll see if we can do something pretty quickly, but we're going to make some great trade agreements with the UK and with the Prime Minister.
Trump expressed optimism that a trade deal would be finalized soon. He asserted that an improved trade agreement would benefit both countries. Starmer subtly countered Trump's claims that trade relations were unfair. He described the trade relationship as strong, balanced, and reciprocal.
The UK and US do when we work together. We win and we get things done. So we'll do what it takes to keep our people safe. We'll also work together to deliver some big economic wins that can benefit us both. We have a $1.5 trillion invested in each other's economies, creating over 2.5 million jobs across both economies. Our trading relationship is not just strong, it's fair, balanced, and reciprocal.
During the meeting, Vice President J.D. Vance criticized free speech policies in the UK. Vance had previously accused the UK and European nations of undermining democratic values.
Great. Look, I said what I said, which is that we do have, of course, a special relationship with our friends in the UK and also with some of our European allies, but we also know that there have been infringements on free speech that actually affect not just the British. Of course, what the British do in their own country is up to them, but also affect American technology companies and by extension American citizens. So that is something that we'll talk about today at lunch. Thank you.
On February 14th, at the Munich Security Conference, Vance made controversial remarks on this issue. Many worry that Trump may consider withdrawing from NATO. Starmer emphasized the enduring strength of the US-UK military alliance.
And it was so good to see the bust of Winston Churchill back in its rightful place just a moment ago. But look, in a moment of real danger around the world, this relationship matters more than ever. We remain each other's first partner in defence, ready to come to the other's aid, to counter threats wherever and whenever they may arise.
He highlighted the upcoming 80th anniversary of victory in Europe, VE Day.
Weeks, we mark VE Day, the 80th anniversary of victory in Europe. Britain and America fought side by side to make that happen. One of the greatest moments in our history. We stand side by side still today, and we're focused now on bringing an enduring end to the barbaric war in Ukraine.
Starmer stressed that both countries remained dedicated to each other's defense. Trump has urged NATO members to contribute at least 5% of their GDP to defense.
As I discussed with Prime Minister Starmer, the next step we're making is toward a very achievable ceasefire. We hope that that can happen quickly because thousands of young people, in this case, we're not talking about Americans, we're talking about Ukrainians and Russians are being killed every week, thousands. And it's a rough battlefield. It's a flat piece of land, and the bullet only stops when it hits somebody. And this week, I saw the reports, and it's I don't even want to say what they are, but thousands of people, young, vibrant people died. And we want to stop that. Senseless. Should have never happened. This will lay the groundwork for a long-term peace agreement that will return stability to Eastern Europe and hopefully ensure that such a terrible war will never happen on European soil or, for that matter, anywhere again. It's a horrible thing that's going on. The disaster in Ukraine shows exactly why it's so important for the United Kingdom and other NATO partners to make large investments in their defense capabilities. In many cases, 4% or 5% of GDP would be appropriate.
U.S. military spending amounts to approximately $967 billion. Starmer acknowledged the importance of European nations increasing their defense contributions. He stated that the UK and other European countries must invest more in security. Starmer warned that achieving the right peace deal was crucial. He insisted that peace must not reward aggression. He cautioned against any settlement that might encourage authoritarian regimes like Iran.